All right, so I think it should work now. Live streaming issues. All right, so as I was saying, hello, happy Thursday. I have moved over to a new side of my desk only because, so in theory, when I share the screen, you should be able to see everything. I think you guys know I have that 34-inch ultra wide monitor, and when I use that, it makes everything teeny tiny when you guys see it. So I'm just on my regular MacBook, so you can hopefully see the whole screen. So first of all, who do we have? Arlene, I'm early. Hey, Arlene. Hi, Elise. Hi, Raji. Hi, Camille. Hi, Devona. Oh, there's somebody without a name. That's very odd. Zhao. Hi, Vanya. Has anyone bought the planner yet? Yes, people have bought the planner. um, Hi, Trisha. Hi, y'all. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. I tried to go to Costco. We thought we were so smart yesterday. We tried to go to Costco Business instead of the real, like the regular Costco. The line was just as long, so we actually just skipped it. And we ended up ordering sushi last night instead. Hey, Michelle. And hi, Zhao. And hi, Dee. Dee, I bought it. Thanks. Awesome. All right, guys. So what I wanted to show you today, so normally we would just, I would have just shown it to you on Monday when we were supposed to launch. So thanks for your patience. It took me way longer than I thought it would, only because the illustrations that I used were so cute. But anyways, the illustrations were different. The whole colors, all the colors were different. I realized once I put pictures in, it didn't really match. And they were different sizes. So I had done that magazine where around the illustration, I put the letters, but it didn't make sense for just plain square Adobe Photoshop files. So anyways, this planner was really long. It ended up being 126 pages, and that's even with me cutting out, I think I cut out like 20 extra pages. It was just way too long. So let's go ahead and jump in here. So in theory, when you, oh, let me share my screen. Let's make sure. And hopefully there's no lag. I think all the lag issues were done, or at least I'm just going to assume they were done, only because I like tried to do, what was that, on Monday, the live stream at like 6 o'clock. I am not a late night person, so it was painful for me to do it at night. So going forward, we're just going to do 10 a.m. and fingers crossed that it just works fine. So let's go ahead. Can you see my screen? You cannot. Hold on. Why is it not showing it? All right, hopefully you can see it now. So over here is YouTube. Yep, there we are. So in here, if you just go into login from right here, when you log in after you purchase it, you're going to see everything, all of your products here if you've never used the Podia platform. And then anything you haven't purchased, will be down here. It'll just say more from Lisa Seifert. So inside of here, and I'll be honest, I don't know how these are arranged. I think they're arranged alphabetically. And so what I've been trying to do is put numbers on things. So I think it does numbers first and then the alphabet. So I've relabeled all of so I called this the Etsy Kickstarter, and then I called this the Fitness Planner Kickstarter. But people were kind of confused because Kickstarter means something totally different, like you're going to raise money. So I renamed this the Wedding Pop-Up Shop. So I'll just rename each of them every month, like the Budget Planner Pop-Up Shop. So in case you didn't know, the Budget Planner is the one that won for April. And it seems to be top of everyone's mind. And it's kind of funny, Shanna Skidmore, I don't know if anyone remembers her. She had this like, I don't remember, I think it was like 5,000 or I don't know, it was something like this, a program that would help you with your finances. And she must have made like bank doing this. She made tons of money. And then last year she decided she was going to retire. And she came out of retirement and she is now sending out more stuff. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think it's because everyone is asking finance stuff and everybody has so many different finance questions and people are worried about their budget. So that will be the new planner for April. So that will launch on Monday, April 27th. And don't worry, there will be no delays because I won't bother with even trying to do illustrations this time. We're just going to stick to Adobe stock. But if you're wondering what happened there, it was really just the, I had found some really pretty illustrations I like that one person did. She wouldn't sell them to me. So then I hired another person on Etsy to make the illustrations for me. And I think she was confused. She thought I was just going to use it for personal use. She didn't realize I was going to resell it to everybody. So that's kind of where the legal things came into place. So until I figure that out fully, which won't happen this month, we're just going to use regular stock photos. But anyways, let's go into your planner pop-up shop. Now, if you opted in, so at the time when you purchased this, you had the option to get the digital version of the wedding planner, and that will launch in 2 weeks on April 14th. I'm looking over at a calendar. And inside of here, it just has a link to, whoops, that one. This digital planner has a link to the session that is going to happen on Tuesday the 14th. And that's just going to be our regular InDesign tech tutorial. And it's going to be on how to set up your workspace. And then right after that, we're going to go right into how to edit the wedding planner, digital planner that you can use for good notes. So all of that is happening in 2 weeks. You'll have everything. So over here is the pop-up shop. So if you go inside of here, you're going to see it's going to be laid out very similar, if not exactly the same as the Etsy Kickstarter and the Planner Kickstarter. So this way, once you get familiar with kind of the layout, you can just jump in and get everything that you need. So over here, how to access your wedding planner pop-up shop. It's just going to tell you all of the materials that are in here. So just a quick recap for you. How to edit it. This will be replaced once we get done with today's tutorial. I'll pop that in here. Related videos. So these are just wedding related videos to help you with marketing and thinking about adding extra things in here, as well as different ways that you can customize this. So I had talked about creating a wedding line, like a series for different types of brides. So there's a ton of things you could do with just this one. Like you could only sell wedding planners and wedding related accessories and make that a total business. Over here are read me instructions that just kind of walk you through different things like how to swap in pages, how to place items and things like that. And if you are going to customize this yourself, I would strongly recommend signing up for InDesign 101. It is free. And there are 5 lessons in there on how to edit everything. So and then just how to ask me any questions. So over here, you're going to have 2 sections. You're going to have one section called downloads, and then you're going to have a second section called bonuses. So inside of each of those is everything that you need for that you've purchased. Everything is inside of there. Again, the only thing that's not inside of there right now is the fast acting bonus. So down here for number 10, it's just the wedding invitation masterclass. So that's going to happen next week. And that has inside of here, I won't open it because then everyone will see the link, but it'll have a link for you to register for that class. And then after, so this fast acting bonus ends this Friday at 11:59 p.m. So as soon as Friday is gone, this will actually disappear. And then I'll enroll you into a separate course just called Wedding Invitation Masterclass. And then once we have the masterclass, I will upload the webinar replay there. So you'll have it as a separate item inside of your dashboard because it'll sit all by itself. All right, so let's go back to downloads. I think there's how to access your pop-up shop. Oh, so this link here, and I know it's hard to see because it's my branded colors, so it's a light pink, but this is called, this is your everything link. And if you do this, you don't have to go through and download each individual item. It should give you everything that's downloadable in one big link. I think it's like 230 megabytes. So make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi. Although most of us are just at stay at home. So I think everyone's connected to Wi-Fi. No one's really on mobile these days, but you never know. So over here in downloads, and let me check. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I bought it, but the big Etsy banner link did not work. The big Etsy banner link, yes. Ebony let me know this morning that it was broken. So I have fixed it. So it is in there. Okay, so here's what you have inside downloads. You have 7 different downloads. So the first one in here, and again, it's a light pink, it always has download links. And this has 2 options. So this is your PDF. So you can just sell this as is. This is just ready to go. You can send it to a printer. You can swap out pages inside of Adobe Acrobat Professional if you have that. You know, this is just all of the pictures. You have all of the pages. So you don't have to worry with the InDesign file because I can't resell photos. Those aren't in there. So, but inside of the PDF, you have everything. And the only reason that it's inside of the PDF is because I can't edit it, or you can't edit it. So in theory, I haven't sold you the photo. I've just sold you a remade copy with a bunch of Adobe Photoshop photo stock photos. All right, now if you want to edit it, this is the original InDesign file. And inside of here, you're going to have 3 different files. Even though it says 2, you're going to get the INDD file, which is for the latest version of Adobe InDesign, and the IDML, which is for really old versions where people had to use DVDs or CD-ROMs to load Adobe InDesign. I do not support that version, and neither does Adobe, but I know some of you have it. And so I just want to make sure that you have that format in case you need to use it. All right, so over here is all of the fonts information. And so these are links to buy all the fonts. And again, you don't have to buy the fonts. These are just the ones that I use. So like, let's say Shellhara script. You could take a look at it and you can see that Shellhara is not showing up. There it is. Shellhara is a scripty kind of font. So you could just find another font that looks very similar and buy that instead. All right, so same thing, Open Sans, Crystal Vibes, Cake Sans, all of those were used inside this file. Now, if you don't know, I do have a separate video on how to install fonts, but over here, this font book, that's how you're going to install it. If you can't find the font book, you can simply go up here to the hourglass and you can type in font book and it will bring up that application for you. Just remember, this is really important, install your font and then restart your computer and then open up Photoshop and InDesign. Sometimes it works if you install it and then open Photoshop, but just to be safe, I always install all fonts and then just restart the computer so everything gets registered. Otherwise, once you open the files, it still won't work. It'll say the font is missing even though you've installed the font. Now, if you have a PC, I honestly have no idea. I did use PCs for years in corporate America, but I've never, 100% never once did graphic design until I left corporate America. So I have no idea how it works on a PC, but I imagine there are probably tutorials out there. All right, so JPEGs. So JPEGs are simply images of each page. So again, I don't use Canva, but I know that some people like pulling the images into Canva because they feel more comfortable with Canva instead of Adobe InDesign. And then you can't edit any text or anything, but you can overlay on top of that photo. So for example, if there's some text you don't like, you can just put a white box on top of the text you don't like, and then put text on top of that white box, if that makes sense. You're almost like whiting it out with a white box inside of Canva. Over here is the graphics pack. So this is your banner. You got a Facebook cover art, Facebook post. So these are all ready sized for you for these different platforms. The only thing that's wrong, I don't know, I should have deleted that. There is no Pinterest pin. I don't know why it says that. So that's a typo. Make a note. So there's no Pinterest pin this time. You got all of the wedding icons. So the ones that I was able to purchase and resell, those, there are 30 of those. And then you can reuse those in the wedding timeline. I'll show you how to do that. Or you could just use it inside of the guide wherever you want. And then you get the branding guide and you get the mood board for that. Okay, so over here is the logo. So you have the logo, you can change it, you can do different colors. I also gave you inside of somewhere, alternative logo colors. So you got the, I shouldn't say 3, that's a typo too, sorry about that. 9 should say it's a pink logo. But I will show you how to make that 25 different colors if you want. You don't, even though it says 3 alternative logo colors, I made it pink for you, even though it's originally blue. You can make it purple, you can make it yellow, you can make it green, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so we went over that. And the big banner file, so that link is there now. It is working. So it should be there. I think someone said it was broken. Sophia, The link doesn't work. Yeah, it works out. Tiffany, do you have to be well-versed in InDesign to edit the templates? I mean, it depends on how much you want to edit it. I would say no. Like, it's always, when I was first starting out, it was always easier for me to edit a template. Creating your own template, yeah, you need to be pretty well-versed in InDesign to do that. But as far as editing it, it should be pretty easy. If you take InDesign 101, you can swap out photos, you can change the fonts and the text, and that's really all you need to do, and you'll be fine. Tiffany, could you explain about the illustration again? I am not clear on what the issue was. The issue was I did not, the illustrator and I had a legal miscommunication. She thought I was paying for her to create illustrations for my personal use, and that I wasn't going to resell them so that you guys could use them. And so the issue was she wanted me to pay her 50% of my sale price for every single planner that was sold. And that was off of the regular 247 price, not the sale price. So she said, it doesn't matter if it's a sale price or it's a regular price. I want half of 247 for everything that you sell. So that's why we weren't able to come to an agreement. So that's why I redid all of the illustrations. Raji, is it possible to edit these in Photoshop? You can edit the Photoshop files in Photoshop, but to edit the actual InDesign files in Photoshop, you cannot. Tiffany, okay, thank you. All right, awesome. So let's go back to Rajiv, sounds good, thank you. All right, so your bonuses. I just wanna make sure you know what all of these are. So when you see this where it says download file, so I actually embedded the file into Podia instead of giving you a download link. And that's just how it was set up. So these are, the Etsy launch checklist is a repeat from what you saw before. 50 blog post ideas for wedding planners is totally new. These are new ideas just for the wedding planner, just like the other one had 50 specific blog post ideas just for fitness planners. This is a repeat. So the slides, Etsy SEO, so it doesn't matter what it is. There's a video that goes with it. Shop listing, how to set up your Etsy shop. And again, I recall this the pop-up shop because you could set this up on Shopify. You could set this up on WooCommerce. You could just sell this via email with a PayPal link. You could send it to a printer. So there's a ton of different things that you could do with this one file. How to connect Google Analytics in your Etsy shop. And then this is the last thing, your Etsy swipe file. So I created a swipe file because I get asked the same questions all the time. So I created an Etsy autoresponder for you, or a bunch of autoresponders. And then these are additional logos that you can edit. So I put right here the application, it's editable in Photoshop. This is your wedding timeline, same thing, editable in Photoshop. This is Instagram highlight covers. Those are not editable. These are just for you to have and to resell. And then the fast acting bonus. So you ready? Let's go ahead and just go ahead and open up the, I'm going to open up the InDesign file. Vanya, what time will be the live masterclass be? What time will the live masterclass be? I don't know. I can't look it up right now because then everyone could see the link. I think it's 10 a.m. It could be noon. Vanya, are there instructions on how to use the Insta highlight covers? So Insta highlight covers, if you're not familiar with Instagram, all you have to do is, and I have an Instagram tutorial for beginners on my Lisa Latte channel. I will send those out to everybody. But inside of Instagram, to add covers, you actually just add a story. And then when you're inside and you go to add a new highlight, you can then pick what story or what, which of your Instagram stories you want to use as the highlight cover. So I don't think you're going to be able to see this because then I'd have to show you and flip around. I have a tutorial. I have 2 webinar tutorials on how to do that. I will send you links to that after this. Okay. So let's go ahead and open Adobe InDesign. Hopefully, can you see this? Hopefully you can see this. Okay. These are pages. So this is your Adobe InDesign file. Close this, stuff open. All right, so if you go to Window and you go to Pages it's going to bring up that pop-up box that I just closed. Let me put it to the side for you. So at the top, you're going to see master pages. So master pages, if I double click on this A is the one with the dots, and you're going to be able to see over here that A has been assigned. And if you hover over a page, it'll actually just say A master applied. So then you know that it's A master at the top. Over here is B. And this is just basically the cover with a little slate tint to it, so it's a little light, or the opacity is changed. And here over here is C. Oh, sorry. B is the one with no opacity, and C has a little bit of opacity. So I actually didn't use C a lot, but I left it in there in case you wanted to use that instead. But most of the pages either have A or B assigned to them. So I mostly use B for the section headers for the new, like in theory, what would be a new tab, like the budget breakdown. And then on the regular pages over here, I just used A, just so there wasn't too much blue, sparkly, glittery stuff. So that is kind of what's happening. This up a little. Okay. So let's say all of these photos. So here's the thing. I cannot sell you the photos. I wish I could. So what's going to happen is when you load this up, do you see this little question mark over here? And so that means that if you hover over it, it'll tell you what it is. It says missing, click to relink. Option to open links panel, missing placed files. So it'll tell you exactly the file that I use. So if you go to window and you go to links, you can do one of two things. You can find this file. So it says Adobe Photostock 255-76168. Let me write that number down because I will never, ever remember. So, but all of these ones with the question mark, those are the ones I was not able to sell to you because I don't have the ability to resell Adobe stock images. So those are the ones that you're going to want to either purchase or find a new photo for. So let me show you how to just use the same one. So let's say you are like, I really like this photo that you've used already, and I would like to go ahead and buy that. So that number is 185478443. So then you can go back over here and you can go to stock.adobe and you can type that number in, 185478443. And you can see it right here. So mine says re-download for free because I already purchased it, but yours will give you the option to buy it or license it. It usually says license depending on if you've signed up for 10 per month or whatever it is per month. And so what you can do then is you can take it and let's just go ahead, we'll download it. All right, so now that photo is in my downloads file. So I can go over here and I can do one of two things. I can link it. So I could say over here, I could go to downloads. And that's the file that I just purchased. So I can go ahead and say open and it'll relink it. And so now it's there. So you can see the question mark went away and now you see the little link symbol. So it's linked. I could also buy a totally separate photo. So what I did, if you're inside Adobe Stock or anywhere really, I think they all have the same feature. Let's just say I want to say engagement couple. And I know that this is a horizontal photo, so I'm going to go over here to filters. And for the orientation, I'm going to say horizontal. They also have vertical, square, and panoramic. And I can pick out any other photo. So let's say I'm going to pick out this photo. And you can also just try it out. So I can either hit license or I can download the preview if I just want to test it out. That's what I did with a lot of photos. And I can come back over here to InDesign. And I can just select this photo. If you guys can see that. So you want to make sure you have the direct selection tool over here, not the direct, sorry, the selection tool at the top left highlighted. Highlight your photo that you want to change and then go to File, Place, and then go ahead and go to that new file that we just downloaded as a preview. And now you can check it out. So now it is there instead of the other photo. And you can be like, I like it or I don't like it. So if I don't like it, I can just do Control Z and undo. It's all you have to do to edit photos. Now, obviously, not all of the photos are, I should say not all of them. Most of them are horizontal. So this particular one, I know in the fitness one, a lot of them were vertical. This one is mostly horizontal, so it should be pretty easy to find photos. I think I just had like 1 or 2 photos that were considered panoramics. So like over here, this is a panoramic. It goes from left to, like, it's a really wide photo. So if I was inside Adobe Stock, all I would do is to change the orientation. I would make sure that only panoramic is selected. And if you have a panoramic photo, then it usually spans all the way from left to right. So you could get one of those. So let's say I want this photo instead. I'll show you again how to do that. I'll download the preview because I'm just going to check it out. I don't really want to buy it. I make sure the selection tool is selected. I highlight that photo. I go to File. I go to Place. And I select that photo, say Open, and it's done. So now that's the new photo that's in there. And that question mark is gone. It's just linked. So hopefully that helped. Let me know if do you guys have any questions? I'll check. Can you show how to change all the same font at once? So what you could do, okay, so that's a great question. So in here, let's say all of these fonts. So did you see this font here at the top? If you go to T, you're going to be able to see that it's Crystal Vibes SVG. And if you use Crystal Vibes, if you've never used this font, you do have to make sure this all caps is selected. Otherwise, it'll just be empty. So it has no lowercase option. So when you don't say all caps, it's just a blank space. So it'll be confusing. So just make sure you use all caps if you're going to use SVG. But let's say we don't like SVG and it's too flowery for you and you want something more modern. If you go over here to Window and go to Styles, you can go to Character Styles, pull it over, and you can see that if I highlight something, so again, let's use that direct selection tool. If I highlight this, I can see that it's Crystal Vibe section headings. I don't like Crystal Vibe section headings, or for whatever reason, like the person asked, who asked that? The person, Elise asked that, sorry. Elise asked how to change that. So all you have to do is double click inside of here and you can change this character style. Oh wait, there it is. It opened it to the side. So once you double click, it'll say character style options. Now I name this character style section headers. You can name it something else. So we could name it, let's say we want to change it to Shellahara, right? Shellahara section headers. So that's just the text. It has nothing to do with anything inside of here. It's just a description so that when I see character styles in the list, I know what it is. I can go over here to character formats. I can see that the font family is Crystal Vibe, so I'm going to change that to Shellahara. Can I find it? Shellahara. I know, I have so many fonts. So many fonts. Okay. I'm going to change it to Shellahara. And maybe I want to make this, so now it's really small. So maybe I'll make it 90. So now this is my new font. So inside of here, you can see everything that had that character style is now changed. Bridal store, this header, dress, style, everything has changed. So all you have to do is make sure to find whatever style that is. So like if I click here, this is Lelux's script 45. So if I change this, this will change everything that has that Lelux's script font. So hope that helps. All right, so if you want to change colors, so like anything, so let's say I want one line to be blue, one line to be pink, just to make it pretty, I would highlight it. The type tool will just highlight on its own once you highlight text. I'll go over here to the top and I'll make sure that that little T is selected. Otherwise, it's going to change the color of the box. And I'm going to change this to blue. And now you can see it's blue. And then let's say I want to change this. I want to make it one of those rainbow ones. So I'm going to change this to green. And then I'm going to change this to red. And then I'm going to change this to teal, right? So I think you get the idea. That's how you change anything, any colors inside of here. Same thing when you highlight this, you can change these individually over here, I could change this to Dido. I could highlight this, and I could change this to Minion Pro. So it works just like Microsoft Word once you're inside these text boxes. Now, the only thing you need to know if you're not familiar with Adobe InDesign is if I add another line of text down here, another line of text and a second line of text and a third line of text. So I can see another line, I can see the second line, I don't see the third line. And the reason I don't see that is anytime you see that plus red sign, that means there's extra text that's hidden. So you would have to make this bigger so you can see it. Or another option is you could just hit this little plus sign over here. Let me close this. And I could say, you know what, I'm just going to drag it. So you can see the cursor is what's called a loaded cursor. It has that extra text in it. And I can just draw a text box over here. And now it's over there. So hold on, let me get some water. So that's how to add extra text if you have extra, and it just doesn't fit in the space that you have. Any questions? Vanya, can you also change the bright pink and bright blue colors at the same time? For example, the bridal party and the groom party. The bridal party, let's go find that page. So bridal party and groom party. Is this the guest list? And those are gifts. There it is, guest list. Okay, so bridal party, groom party, I think this is what you mean, the guest list. So over here, when I make lines, these are all pink. So if I want to change this, I go to Window, I go to Styles, oops, and I go to Paragraph Styles. So you can see over here that these are pink. If I want to, I can make these blue. I can make it mauve. I can make it salmon. Or I could just go ahead and redo the whole thing. I could double click. I could just not do styles at all. Like maybe one of these four aren't what I want, and I don't feel like making a new paragraph style. I could go up here to the top where it says text, make sure the T is selected, and then I can change this to anything I want. I can make that blue. I can make it green. I can make it red. I can make it yellow. I can make it black. So, so that should be pretty easy for you. So these, just so you know, whenever you see lines, if I'm creating the file, unless it's just a single line, I've created them with paragraph rules to make it faster for you, versus I think drawing individual lines is crazy. I think that would take you forever. And there's a tutorial on my website, or not my website, on YouTube as well, on how to use paragraph rules to create lines. So yeah. Any other questions? So these boxes here, this his and hers, if you select it, you can see you can change this box to blue. Let me move this over. You can change that box to yellow. You can change it to green. You can change it to red, mint, mauve, indigo blue, any color you want, you can change up here at the top. Now, you'll notice there's two boxes. This is the box color, and then over here for T, that's the font color. So I've made it paper, which is basically the same as white. I could make it yellow. I could make it teal, make it dark teal. I could make it blue. I could make it mint, whatever color I want inside of there. So that's pretty much all you need to do is change the text. And again, if you want to change text, all you have to do is highlight it and say change to new text. And you're done. The only thing I would mention is once you're done, because you'll have changed all of your pictures so you can keep them all together in your link file in case you need to reference it later, is when you save it out, instead of saying, well, you'll still do file save, but instead of doing file export to a PDF, you'll want to do file package. And when you do file package, it's going to try to save all of the fonts for you. It's going to try to save all the links and images, the colors, the links, the printer. It's going to save everything for you. Honestly, these last three, I don't even pay attention to. I think that's just if you're creating a spot color. So the most important part though is the links and images. So you have all of your images all contained in that links folder. Otherwise, sometimes what I do, I think you saw, like I just download everything to the downloads folder. When my computer gets too full, I delete everything from the downloads folder. And if I didn't remember to package an InDesign file first, I just lose everything. So that's it. So I'll leave this open in case anybody has any questions, but I want to move on to Photoshop so I can show you guys how to edit some of those items. So inside of here, inside your wedding planner folder, and this is my folder, so it's a little different than yours. So let's go into social media graphics. All right, let's go into, I want to show you the logo. Do I have it in here? Square alternative logo, logos for bonus files, original logo, bonus logos. Okay, so that's the old logo. Bonus logo. Okay, so you have all these different logos that you can use. So here's how it works. So let's open up any of these bonus logos. And I'll show you the main logo too. But inside of here, this is Photoshop. I don't know why it's doing that. I think it's Photoshop still thinks I'm on the 34-inch ultra wide. So let's try to move this over so you can see everything. All right. Okay, so inside of Photoshop, your desktop is going to look different than mine. It's just how Photoshop is set up. If you go to Workspace and you go to Essentials, it should, in theory, kind of look like mine. It still might look a little different. But over here is Layers. So this is how Photoshop works. The word wedding, there's a little I here. So if I toggle this off, the word wedding will disappear. Same thing, planner, this will disappear. So maybe you want to call this, I don't know, something else. All you have to do is go over here to the left, find that T, just like in InDesign, the type tool, hover over here, and you can just change the text. So you want to make sure what you want is selected on the right and that you have the type tool. And we could call this the bride planner or something. Or we could call it the bride journal. Whatever you feel like calling it. Now, if you want to move things around here, you can just move them. Make sure they're highlighted, and then you can just move them. I just move things with the arrow. You can definitely use the mouse and move things around, but sometimes I just want to make small little changes. All right, so these are the same thing. So once you're inside here, you can change the colors over here. But again, I'm not a Photoshop expert, so if you want Photoshop lessons, I don't really have them. There are tons of free Photoshop lessons out there, and I think that will be better for you. But that's basically just how you re-edit these. And then if you want to save this, you can just save as. So obviously it's a Photoshop file, but you can't really upload a Photoshop file to a website. So you could just go down here and you could choose JPEG instead, and it'll make it a JPEG for you. All right, so I want to show you how to change the colors on that alternate logo box. Square, where did I put it? There it is, square alternate logo pink. I found it. All right, so you're going to open up this file inside Photoshop, and here's how you're going to change the colors. So over here is all the text that you see before. So everything in here, if you want to change anything, just like I showed you, you can just use the type tool. Over here, there's a button that says Hue Saturation. So this W that you see right here is that Crystal Vibes W. So it's just a special font that has all the flowers and everything with it. And over here, if you double click Hue, this is where it gets fun. So this is where you can change all the colors. So let's say I want to make this green or something. I can just slide this over until it becomes green. And now it's all green. I could slide this over until it becomes orange. I could slide this over until it becomes purple. Now the red, and I'm not an expert with this, like I always say, I'm not a Photoshop expert, but if you have some basic color knowledge, if you remember from doing art as a kid, remember there was blue, I don't remember. I don't remember what I think it's blue, red, something else are the primary colors. And so a combination of those three primary colors is what is going to create this. So that's basically what you're doing. You're basically kind of just mixing different paint colors over here to create different colors inside of here. So what I do is, let's say I want to make this, I don't even know, green, because it's a spring wedding and I just want to make it really festive and green. And I kind of like that green, right? So I'm done with that. So I'll go back to layers. And again, to get here, all you have to do is double click it and it will open a little window here for properties. If you don't see layers, you just go to window and make sure layers is selected. Now, because nothing else matches that green, everything else, like this pink, I'll have to double click that. And then it gives you this little eyedropper, and I'll pick this as the new green, and I'll say, okay. The word wedding over here. So basically what you could do for all the text, the fastest way is to go over here, highlight everything. And all I did was hold the shift key. This is on an Apple, I have no idea on a PC. And then I made sure the type tool is selected. And then over here at the top, you'll see there's a question mark. It's like, what is going on? So all you have to do is open this. And again, that little eyedropper comes up and I'll just select that green. I'll say, okay. And now everything is green. So that's how you can change the color, and you can make it pink and yellow and orange or whatever shade that you want using that hue saturation thing. So that is really cool. I hope that's helpful. And again, you know, if you need that hex code that you just created, if you go over here and you just double click up here, it's going to show you that it's 47E75F, and that's your hex code. What else can I show you? What other files did you get? Okay, so the other Photoshop files you got, let's go into the bonus files. The wedding invitation, no, this bonus timeline. Okay, so for the timeline, I gave you the PNG, which is a transparent file. I gave you the JPEG, but I also gave you the Photoshop file. So inside of here, you can change anything you want, right? So you can call it, I could highlight this and say ceremony timeline. Oops. I have two of those for some reason. So, and let's say I want to change the color. I can change this over here to a purple. Oh, whoops. Let me change the right one. I can change this to a purple color. So now it's purple. And again, you're going to see that word timeline. So this is with that Crystal Vibes SVG, but maybe you don't want to use that again, like we said before, and we changed it to, what did we say we changed it to? I think it was the Lux is serif. No, that doesn't look right. I can't remember what we changed it to. We changed it to something. So but it doesn't matter. You can change this to whatever fonts you want. You can change this to whatever colors that you want. So let's say you want to make this purple so it matches over here. So now everything's purple. So over here where it says ceremony, maybe you want to change it to, I don't know, maybe there's something else before. You want to do even more detailed, and you're going to say hair and makeup. So this is obviously the wrong icon for hair and makeup. So what you'll want to do is over here, you see where it says icons. So these are kind of like folders on the right. And this little arrow, when it goes like that, means it's closed. If you click it, it'll open it. And that means everything that's inside that folder will show up. So these are just like little accordion files right here. And again, this I will like take everything out if you don't want it. So let's say over here, this is the ring. And if you're not sure what things are, I mean, rings should be pretty self-explanatory. If you toggle stuff to say hide or unhide, you can kind of figure out what object inside of there it corresponds to. So remember I told you I gave you a bunch of icons, right? So inside of your files that you got all of your stuff, you have icons. There we go. So inside of here, you have a ton of different icons. So let's say it's hair and makeup, right? So we're going to replace this ring with this hair and makeup one. I don't know the best way to do it inside of Photoshop because, again, I'm not a Photoshop expert, but what I do is I just take it and I drag it like that. And so once I drag it, it gives me these little dots here so I can resize it. So I will just take the top right corner and then I'll place it on top of here. So I kind of get the right size to match the other ones. So you can make it big or large. And then once I like it, I just go ahead and hit the return button. So that's there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle off that ring button so that it's totally gone. If this file is too big, which I don't think, let's see, it's 59 megabytes, I could just delete that and just put it in the trash and that'll save it. So I hope that was helpful. These lines, if you want to change the color of these lines down here, all you have to do, again, if you're not sure which line you're looking at, just toggle it on and off. So that's the cake line. So all you have to do is double click this. Pretty much anything you want to change, if you double click it, another option box will pop up and you have this eyedrop tool again. So maybe I just want to make everything purple. So I can just go through here, double click, eyedrop on the purple. And click, eyedrop on the purple. And if you're a Photoshop expert, you might be laughing and being like, there are faster ways to do this, Lisa. I don't know, they probably are. But again, I just know enough about Photoshop to do what I need to do. There we go. And maybe I want to change all of the text down here at the bottom to make sure it says it's purple. So I could just go ahead, highlight all of that, hold the shift key down, and then go over here to the type tool, go to that box and change it all to be purple. And now it's all purple. So that's how you edit that timeline. Any questions? Rashi, you were doing right on Photoshop. Thank you. D, and is there a way to edit the timeline from page 26? There is not. So I bought that from somebody else and that's just as is. But I did find it. I'll just let you know. I found it on Fiverr. No, Fiverr? Yeah, I found it on Fiverr and someone just made it for me. On some pages, there are names. Does this show up in the PDF version? For example, page 26. Page 26. Page 26, hold on. Names, yeah. So those names will show up on your PDF. They're just kind of generic names. Is the tutorial for the kinds updated for the kinds? What is kinds? Oh, lines updated for our INDD 2020 version. Is it updated? I mean, it works the exact same. There's no update to be made only because there are no different things that have changed, if that makes sense. Like sometimes they make changes to some of the tutorials that I've done, but for that one, it'll still work exactly the same. Vanya, can you also change the bright pink and blue colors? Oh yeah, we already did that. Okay. Trisha, what is a good price if the bride wanted to customize with their wedding colors? I mean, it's really up to you. Are you asking what a good price is for the Photoshop file, Trisha, or for this timeline? Or for the InDesign file for doing a custom wedding planner for them? The whole planner. It's really up to you. I mean, I always think of it as an hourly rate. So I sent out an email the other day to all the Boss School students and I said, I would do a custom planner for you for $1,500. And that's just based off of what I feel the hourly rate is that I'm comfortable with charging, and what I feel that I'm worth. So for you, if it takes you, here's how you would back into any pricing number for customizations. If something is going to take you 2 hours to do, and you normally charge out at $50 an hour, then you charge $100 to make that customization. If a customization is so complicated, it's going to take you, say, an entire week, so 40 hours, you would take 40 hours times 50, and I think that is, I can't do math. It's whatever that adds up to is what you would charge for that person. I think that's $200. Is that right? No, that can't be right. Whatever 40 times 50 is, 2,000. I think that's 2,000. Anyways, that's what you would always charge for any customization. So if you don't know how long something will take you, then you should definitely try doing a couple tasks and just writing it down. And like, if you have to change one page, I think that's a good idea. Change one page and record how long that takes you. So if that takes you 10 minutes versus an hour, then that's how you kind of decide how much to charge. And, you know, like I said, it's also based on your expertise, right? So something that takes me 10 minutes to change might take you an hour. And that's just because you're new at InDesign, or vice versa. Maybe it's Photoshop and you're like a Photoshop ninja and it takes you 2 seconds versus it takes me an hour because I can't figure out where anything is. So that's kind of how you price things out. What else was in there? I think that was all of your bonuses. Oh, the mood board. So where did I put the mood board? Did I create a mood board? Yes, I did. All right, so the mood board is over here. So the mood board, I think, is just something nice to give as a bonus, or something, honestly, I think posting this to Pinterest will also help you to get more sales. But let's say you want to make changes. You don't like this logo. You want to swap it out with another logo. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here, you're going to see, again, I have these folders. So these are the folders for the logo. And I tried to do top down from top to bottom. And so over here for the primary logo, you can see that T, that's just the text. That's actually that word primary logo. So again, toggle something on and off and you can see what it is. Over here where it says logo 1, that corresponds to the logo at the top, logo 1. Over here where it says logo 2, that corresponds to the second logo that you see, and submark is over here for that third one. So let's say we want to use one of the new logos. So what you would do inside of here is you would actually just delete this whole thing. So you don't need it, right? You're going to use a different logo. So again, what I do with Photoshop is I just drag stuff in. So I would go over here to the logos, and I would go to the alternate logos, and I would pick one that I like. So let's say I really like this one, the split one, or I like the love one. So I'm going to drag this over here. Whoops. And it's going to be pretty big. So I just grab a corner again and I just resize it. I move it up here. And that looks actually about right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the return button and I'm done. So now I know so this says script logo. You can move stuff around. So I would move it over here onto logo 1, just so if you go back in here, you can find stuff again. And let's say you want to change all these colors down here. Same thing, you can change, you can give people the hex code or you cannot give them the hex code. I just give out hex codes because I feel like once you've seen it, you could use an eyedropper tool inside of Chrome or a browser and just get it anyway. But over here you can see colors, and I did put them in from left to right. So let's say we don't like the teal. So this is a T for text. So let's say I want to change this to, I don't even know, yellow. So I'm going to have to make this smaller. So here at the top, I can do 19, or I can take this and I can transform this. I can get that box. I just hit Command T, and I can change this so it's like that. Now, you will see that it has those little things over here. So if I go here to the type tool and I highlight the Y, it should, if you have the latest version of Adobe Photoshop, it will automatically show you the glyphs. So I'm going to select that glyph. And then over here on the right, I want the W to also extend out. So I'm going to select this glyph. So this way, it kind of looks more like it naturally just fades out to the sides of the circle. Obviously, this is not yellow, so let's change this right here where it says color. Again, all I have to do is double click and I can select yellow, maybe like a darker yellow. I can just do a bright yellow and it's done. Obviously, it's hard to read that text, so I'm going to go ahead and change that yellow to a black. And that's it. Oh, I guess that doesn't work. Just kidding. You're going to have to just leave it white because it won't match with the rest of the things. All right. And then down here, I can just highlight this and put in some new, I don't even know what the code is. some new hex color codes, and et cetera, et cetera. So you can go ahead and customize all of these things with whatever you want. Do you guys have any other questions? D, nice. Awesome. I know that's a lot. It's been a whole hour, so you're probably tired. If you guys have any other problems while you're doing stuff, I mean, this is really helpful, what Vanya did and Dee did. Just tell me the page number and what you want to do, and I will just reply back to you and tell you exactly how to change it. Sound good? All right, guys. So the planner is on sale through this Friday because it got out so late. So through midnight on Friday the 3rd. And then it goes back up to its regular $247 price, and the fast acting bonus goes away. So if you want it, I would definitely say get it now. And I hope everyone's having a fabulous day, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye. Oh, Ton, is this a printable or downloadable? It is both. You could sell it as a printable or a downloadable, whichever one you want, as long as you sell the PDF.